thank you for coming all the way from England to join us.
Pleasure.
I'm not sure everyone here knows Nectar super well, even though, as we just heard, 19 million people is a lot, especially for that market. So do you mind just kind of giving us the overview of what you guys are doing?
Yeah, sure. So Nectar is the largest loyalty program in the UK. We were actually a startup back in 2002 and have grown pretty fantastically since then, and work with some of the biggest brands in the UK. So we're a multi-partner program. So we've got a grocery program, grocery retailer, a gas retailer, people like eBay, lots of other partners in the program.
And so when it started out, this was not a mobile-first business. This was sort of an offline loyalty business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're pretty disruptive when we started out back in 2002. There weren't any other programs who were doing what we were doing, which was basically running a program for data. So we get to see people's household expenditure on about 60% of what they spend on, and reward them for that. But actually, what we've done over the last couple of years is really taken a step back and go, look, actually, we talk about ourselves as being a loyalty program. But if you look at our assets, we've got one of the most recognized brands in the UK. We've got one of the largest audiences in the UK. And these people trust us with their data. So if you kind of look at that, there are a huge number of opportunities for what you can do. That's far bigger than just a sort of paper-based cards and points scheme.
So Nectar got acquired around the same time that iPhones kind of emerged on the scene.
Yep.
That must have been a very kind of exciting but also kind of chaotic time around 2007, 2008. What was it like for you guys to kind of go from startup to part of a larger corporation right as mobile's kind of emerging?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the difficulties that you inevitably face when you make that shift is that a lot of the real kind of closeness and the drive that you have as a startup, where you've got a really clear vision and you're just working towards that. When you're part of a publicly listed company, you're all of a sudden doing a lot of educating. You're working as part of a much bigger group. That brings some real advantages in the ability to invest, but it brings some real challenges in terms of staying laser focused. And actually, that's again something we've really worked on in the last couple of years, how we can get ourselves back to having the benefits of being part of a large corporate. And our parent company is about a $2.5 billion publicly listed business. But still keep the benefits of being a more entrepreneurial startup in the way we work. So we've got a really, really successful innovation incubator where all of our new products stuff has come from in the last couple of years. We've totally changed how we work with our budgets, and we've kind of refocused our relationship with the group, where we report, we make the best of all of the great advantages that brings, but we have a real identity as our own team and are very focused on what we're doing.
So it sounds like there was like an important moment for the company a couple of years ago where you guys decided to sort of really shake things up.
Yep.
For anyone in the audience who isn't at a small startup kind of doing that every day, what was it like to kind of come to that realization, and how did you guys kind of set up the structures to go about that in the least chaotic way possible?
Yeah, I'm not sure we managed to do it in the least chaotic way possible. But so we, give you a bit of an idea. We have about 400 people working for Nectar in the UK, and we were a very successful business, good growth, in all of our key metrics. So it was a big decision to basically stop all of our marketing, stop all business as usual, and spend 6 months totally replatforming the business to become a mobile-first business. At the same time, we changed to be agile in the way we work, and that was just a massive culture change. So you've got to really focus as much on taking your partners with you as well as the teams. That means you've got to have pretty clear vision. But the reality is when you kind of shake stuff up that much, it does go back to almost what I remember very early on from the startup world, where you might have that sort of number of people working for you. It's probably only really about 10 people who affect that change. And those 10 people are the people who, back to when we were in startup mode, you're making the coffee, you're doing the sales, you're sorting out the IT, you're doing a deal with a new partner. It's exactly that same mentality of just roll your sleeves up, get the job done, whatever it takes. And again, it's a core group who, certainly in our case, delivered that.
So what are you guys doing now that's, more reflecting this mobile approach and sort of getting us away from maybe the limits of loyalty in an offline setting?
Yeah, so what we've really, I guess our ethos behind what we've done is really putting the customer in control. And that's the biggest sort of change that we've made. We're a reasonably unique business in that we've got our business partners, the big brands who write us the checks, but then we've got 90 million people who actually, are the reason why those brands write the checks. And so what we've really been doing is trying to make sure that the program works for those people, that it's really focused on being very, very simple in what it does, which is deliver great value offers to those people. And that's all based around an offer stream which has got machine learning. It's all very, very tailored. And that's where we're going to get that experience from an MVP, which we launched last year and had a ton of problems, same as most startups do. We've spent last year really listening to customers, getting that customer experience really smooth, which it is now. And then the stage after that is being very, very focused on where we innovate. And the lovely bit about our space is we kind of sit right slap bang in the middle of where big data, payments, sort of new marketing all collides together. And that gives us just a ton of opportunity of where to go next.
Okay, so I'm a customer.
Yeah.
And I want smart deals. I want to feel rewarded for being a loyal customer. I probably want to save as much time as possible. Where does loyalty go that kind of gets me to a higher degree of satisfaction?
Yeah, so the key piece that we've seen, and both from Nectar and also all the programs we run around the world, and we run over 100, is that loyalty is essentially just about relationships. And relationships are the same whether it's your relationships with your friends or what you do in retail, that you build up trust. And particularly what you're seeing in mobile, which we were hearing about earlier, is people aren't going to search engines to start. They've got a few trusted apps, and those are the ones that they go to straight away. That's what really our business helps drive, is we connect businesses who want to build long-term valued relationships with their customers, with the right customers to do that, and bring them together. But that does require a certain mindset from the businesses we work with. So, we know customers are incredibly savvy. They will look at great deals, but they'd be more interested in our experience of working with businesses who will consistently reward them, give them great value products, respect them in the way they market to them as well, and that it is really a two-way relationship.
Being a British tech company here, has that given you guys any sort of unique perspective or maybe a different journey than you think would have happened if, let's say, you'd founded the company in New York?
Yeah, so I think it's probably a very different journey back in 2002 to what it would be even in London now. So, London's got as you all know, a pretty thriving tech scene now, and I think the ability to get investment, the ability to have a really high quality pool of engineers in London is now really good. So actually where we've shifted back to being, I guess, a technology firm in some ways over the last few years, we've found that very easy. I think when we started up back in 2002, it was definitely more challenging to get the right technology people. We had a largely kind of outsourced model for how we built that. But it's a great place to be now, and I think a lot of similarities with New York and increasingly San Fran as well.
So if you were to restart your company today,
yeah,
we're rewinding in a way 14 years and saying, okay, Nectar was founded in 2016. Would it be mobile first? Would it be structurally very different? Or what would be sort of the takeaways over the past few years that you would immediately apply?
Yeah, so if you look at the sort of absolute essence, what we do, it's about connecting people with brands who want to build relationships with them. And we're trying to find the easiest way possible to do that. That's got to be mobile first. And I agree with a comment that was made earlier. I don't think it can be only mobile. We've got a very wide demographic and a lot of people who still love using plastic cards rather than just the mobile. But I think it has to be that first. And I think, you have to, or you would have to, if you were starting the business again, be very clear that it's not about running a marketing company that tells customers who they should be connecting with, and happens to give them some points for doing that. It's about really understanding how can you make this experience fantastic for the customers? What can you do to make their lives even easier as they choose which brands to build relationships with. And I think certainly in the UK, there are not that many brands who've really understood that. There's been that fundamental shift over the last few years where the power lies squarely with the consumer now. It's no longer the case that marketing can be telling customers what to do.
So how do you walk the line of being consumer first, but also collecting a heck ton of data on all these consumers and trying to do new sort of initiatives based on, the big data or basically just large data sets of customer information that you collect, so it's not annoying, but it's, maybe a better value?
Yeah, so look, I think there are two pieces there. One is we've got some principles around how we look after data. It's probably the single most important piece that we do as a business. So we really value the trust that customers have with us and make sure we don't do anything to compromise that. However we use data will always add value. We make sure customers are totally in control at each stage, and that it's totally transparent how we use that. And I think being really passionate about how much you respect the massive gift customers are giving you and showing their data is crucial, and understanding that the only reason they're doing that is so that you can make the experience better for them. If you stick to that, then I think that's great. And so we spend a lot of time doing user testing, a lot of time talking to customers, trying to understand where they see Nectar playing a role in their lives, and then what other challenges they have. So we spend time just following people around in their homes. We are invited. We don't just break into their homes. But just seeing through their daily journey where the pain points, and actually out those pain points, is it the fact that they've run out of milk and they hadn't realized, is there a way we can help with that because we know their purchasing pattern of milk? That's kind of where we really start from.
Is there any new innovation, whether it's in artificial intelligence, deep learning or something? Is there any sort of forefront technology that you guys are watching closely right now that may be a bigger opportunity in the next couple of years? Yeah,
so I think where deep learning, so really advanced machine learning is going, will transform this space. The challenge is, you need to find a good way to be able to input customer control in that, as well as just going from the data. I think there's only so much with great transactional data you can do. You need some attitudinal stuff and so on in there as well. But I think that will be transformative. We're at the very beginning of our journey into that world. And then I think one of the interesting challenges we have is that we can try and drive the technology agenda and be at the forefront of a lot of this stuff. But we work with a huge range of businesses across the UK, some of which still can't, their scanners in the stores can't read a barcode. So we've got to balance how quickly we move on the technology side versus how quickly our partners can keep up. And obviously we've got other partners who are leading us, and we're learning from them as well. But that's the balance. That's quite a tricky one to manage.
Will we see you guys in the States, or will US companies watching have to come partner with you in England?
So look, we've got a pretty focused international expansion plan as business. US is a huge market, so it's definitely one we're looking carefully at.
All right, well, we're out of time, but thank you so much for sharing all those insights with us.
Thanks a lot.